Gotta love the bagpipes. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hi.
This is the final stretch, isn't it? So, who is staying up? That's what we want to know. Who's staying up to the end? So,
not I.
No. So we still got a little bit more work to do. We can pump up the CC7 for our Olympians. This is the day that I was looking forward to. How about you guys? To really work on the Olympians and to see their stories, see their history as well. So this has been really kind of fun. And I guess we should go ahead and give you the words. So I will let David tell us, what is the word of the hour?
Okay, today's word of the hour is timeline. One word, timeline.
So what you want to do is type timeline in the chat. It does not have to be capitalized. It's not case sensitive. Snowflake, you already had your word, dear.
Yes, you did.
I saw someone mention Snowflake, so I thought, yeah, sure.
So type in the timeline, and then towards the end of this program, what we'll do is we'll collect all your names that type that in and draw for the prize, a mug or a shirt, a WikiTree branded mug or shirt. So pretty cool. So everybody tell us how you're doing. What do you think of the WikiGames as well? Let us know. David had a good point I think 2 nights ago. I've lost track now. You know, the events committee kind of comes up with these ideas, and if somebody gives us an idea, then we take it and go with it, and we make it into reality. And we love hearing your feedback, because that's how we know if we are hitting the mark or missing the mark. But we love hearing your feedback. What do you think? Was having a small connect-a-thon and a small source-a-thon and then a small challenge, was that pretty cool for everybody? Did everybody like that? Or would you like maybe just a weekend challenge or weekend connect-a-thon with Olympians, say, or anybody, really, any topic? I know we have pop-ups. Darren, you do a lot of pop-ups for WikiTree.
Yeah, I've done a few. I've got one that I want to do next month, but I'm sort of bit like I wouldn't know how to find the profiles that I might need.
And that's probably David understands that, because with the 15 for 15 Nation Tour, that's a task to find the profiles for those. But David also does a lot of pop-ups as well, and you've got cool ones coming up. And what did you decide for September for the notables?
For the notables,
because I know someone passed away recently, so I'm not sure if you moved some things around.
You know what? It's 3:00 in the morning. I have no idea.
No, it's not. It is
where you're going with
4.
this.
It is 4.
Well,
No, it's
in
9.
my world, it's only 3.
When you said 3, I was like, oh no, we started early. But then I felt, well, okay, you all showed up. So.
I'm not sure which project you're referring to.
Well, I know that you have really fun challenges that you have.
Yes, okay.
Challenges.
Yes, I do know what you're referring to now. So this is not something that is ready to go for September, and that's the problem. But we were planning on a game show host challenge for in honor of Bob Barker's 100th birthday, which was slated to be in October. And due to his passing away, we were talking about whether we might want to move that up. I'm not sure we have enough time to get it in place by September, so that may still be held off until, if not October, maybe closer to October. But yeah, it's unfortunate that he came so close. But 99 is still a long life.
It is. It really is. How close was he to hitting 100? Does anybody remember?
October.
Really?
Yeah, so a month or 2, maybe.
So it looks like a lot of people like this challenge. They like this idea of the WikiGames. And I think Joku mentioned as well, like switching it up, would like a little bit more international And I think that's tough because how you're put on a team is random. It's completely random. So we kind of select the Olympians and we put them on a team, and then it's randomly put the people, the WikiTreeers, on a team. So it's kind of tough, I think, to match Olympians country with all the members on a team. But that's something that seems to be a really big mention, don't you think? Through as we've been going
Yeah.
through.
So if I could comment on that, because that's something that I'm really working hard to with the rest of the team, but trying to get a more global um, angle to some of our projects. The problem we have is that one of the problems we have is that people push for the global aspect and then don't participate when we set it up. Um, so what we really need is if people are interested in a global project, first they need to define if they're referring to their country or if they're truly interested in
Mhm.
doing something global. And if they are interested in doing something for a country, um, again, let us know. You can email me, and I'd be happy to set something up if I know that people are going to participate in it. Um, but our 15 Nations tour is a good example. We've got some really dedicated members, but I could probably count on. And there's one of them right there. Darren's always there. Um, and we've got probably 5 or 6 people that work on it every single week, and we have a ball. But all the people that go online and tell me they want more global projects don't sign up to participate in the project. So we don't want to do a whole lot of work setting up a project that nobody's going to participate in. So the opportunity's there. uh, Make your suggestions, and we'll get some of those up. But the other thing is that it's difficult. I get this. Recently we started doing some entertainment TV show projects, and people say, well, why don't you do British shows? Why don't you do New Zealand shows, etc.? Well, I don't know any of those shows, so if that's something you want to do, I need more than just a suggestion. I need you to let me know who the personalities are that you think we should cover. um, because I know what I know, and you know what you know. So share with me what you know, and we'll get something going.
And that
But
really
that's
is
part of the
the
dilemma,
collaboration.
is that we just don't.
Yeah.
Pardon?
That's really the collaboration is like you
Mhm.
said, we all have our own realm of what areas we research and we know. And that's kind of what we're talking about with timeline is too. So if you like something, a particular topic, definitely get in touch with David and work something out. Because you do have really great monthly challenges. And he posts them up on GTG all the time, and they're really cool. And I know that some people from a couple of my projects they can't wait to see what you post up there because they're unique and they're a little bit different and they're fun, or they might bring back a childhood memory.
I have a lot of fun with them, and and most of those come from the other members that have given me ideas. And there's sometimes people come up with some pretty obscure things, but those are sometimes the most fun. So um,
Well, there you go. So then, if you guys have an idea and you want something outside of the United States, let's just say what it is outside the United States, then get in touch with David and let him know, and see if you can work something out. Because if you are curious and asking for it, chances are there are many others that are. And you just need to collaborate and come up with a game plan. I think that's probably the best thing. But it looks
but
like yeah.
we had the baseball was our first sports project, and that was a big hit. But we did have some people say that's too American, which is valid. So then we did tennis, and about half the personalities were not American, and nobody touched them. Everybody went for the American ones. So, so that's kind of the dilemma.
And
Now we do get the key. I shouldn't say no others, but we get American, we get English, we get the French, New Zealand, Australia. There are a handful of countries that get the attention. Um, but we start doing, the more obscure countries, the Brazilian and the Cuban and the Estonian and, so on. Countries people aren't familiar with, they stay away from them. So that's where we have to kind of do a balancing act.
And I think we should mention too that a couple weeks ago, has it been about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks? David did announce a global project initiative that is going to happen on WikiTree. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
So for those that didn't hear, when we wrap up our 15 nations tour, which we have 3 more nations to go, we are going to finish working on and conclude working on a new project, which will open up. We're slated to open up on January 1st. It's going to be a global project that will have a free space page and a potential project page for every country of the world. And we have 197 countries that we are working on. So whatever country your interest is in, you can head over there and you'll find some information. There is not necessarily going to be an active project for all 197 countries, but again, that'll be based on interest. If you have a country, an obscure country that you would like to create a project for, you drop me a note and we'll turn that free space page into a project. You only need one person to start a project, and we'll get them going, and hopefully over time we'll have actual active projects for at least a large number of our countries.
For globally. So this is kind of an initiative that WikiTree is doing. It's really cool. And I know that David did launch it on WikiTree Bingo. And we had a great time with it. And the next day, I sent him a message through Discord and I said, okay, I got 5 people that want to look at your list. What's your list and what do you got? So he's getting really, really good response from it. So if you do have an interest in a country, maybe it's a place that you just like to travel, or maybe you do have ancestors there, definitely get in touch with David and look at it, because this is going to be starting in January, but you can jump in now, right?
Well, yeah, the projects are not open now, but if you'd like to help us get a country set up, we have a template that we're using for each of the countries. Now, this will not impact any country that already has a project. So the England project and the Canada project and those, it's not going to impact them. We will have links to their projects on our page, but those projects will continue to operate as they do. This is for all those other countries. I think we have something close to 24 countries with projects. And again, that's out of almost 200 countries in the world. So there's a lot of other countries left to account for. But yeah, if you're interested in setting something up, we'll get you the template and you can start helping us figure. Each page is going to have information on the history, the demographics, the religions, the languages. It'll talk a little bit about the naming patterns. It'll have some notables. It'll have kind of just a diversity, and then it'll have resources. We'll have links to other sites that have information on those countries. Some of them you'll find on Ancestry and Family Search, but others you're not going to find there. But there are, this is what we've learned through our 15 nations, is that the information is out there for most of these countries. It's just a matter of figuring out where it is. And it'll also be a work in progress. So we don't expect to have this all up 100% on January 1st, but we'll have at least the templates in place. And then that's where the potential projects can come in and develop them into something.
It's pretty cool. This is pretty cool. This is, to me, this is groundbreaking, because a lot of people do focus on the U.S. with WikiTree, and this is a way that we can kind of break out and definitely go global. Now, I've got a question for David and Daryl, because you do the pop-ups. Sue mentioned that she doesn't always hear about the pop-up challenge before they finish. And I know on G2G, you two tag them specifically with certain tags. Do you tag them as a pop-up? So if Sue wanted to know more about pop-ups, she could actually add that to the tag on her personal profile.
I'm pretty sure it's challenges.
Challenges?
It's one of the tags we try and use. WikiTree events is another one.
And 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 everybody
it's-
that's watching, what we're talking about is on your personal profile page, there's a whole bunch of the little green boxes, and those are tags that you picked. You might have picked, a lot of people picked Civil War. You might have picked England. You might have picked Canada. Around the range of topics that you pick. And if you put in challenges on your personal profile page on the tags that show up top, then every time somebody adds a G2G post about pop-ups or challenges, such as the WikiGames, then you will get that information sent to you in the WikiTree emails. You'll see anytime that a G2G is posted and popped up. So it's kind of like a way to trigger that you're interested in that particular project or idea that's going on.
Yeah, and the pop-ups were intended to be a surprise, so people don't get advance notice. It was something that we came up with about a year ago, and it took off. For the first couple months, we were doing them quite frequently, and then it just kind of dwindled, and we've all gotten involved with other things. But a couple of us, like Darren and myself, periodically will throw one out there.
Yeah.
For me, it's usually just something that pops up in my head before it pops up on the thing, and I think something happened in the media, something. It's a holiday, something it might be fast food day, so I'll just throw up a couple fast food notables. Who knows? But it's just something that we kind of come up with on a whim. I don't close mine, so if you miss it that day, the profiles are still there, so you're free to go back and work on them. So it's not a competition. There's no competing or keeping score. It's just something fun to do for people that are, looking for a change of pace on a particular day.
And I think that's a really good thing to mention too. You don't have to hit a tracker button. You don't have to have the stats and keep looking at the stats and thinking, am I getting enough in or anything? It really is just helping, improving the tree with something that interests you as well. Topic that interests. Most of the pop-ups are weekend. They're not long term. Most of them, some of them are week long. But also check out the G2G post that A1 always puts up that says what's happening this month. And in there, you'll see that all of the projects will start listing their particular information of what they're working on. And as a matter of fact, Alesh helped my project, that Black project, set up the really long titled challenge that we had this month. This month we had moonshiners and NASCAR. So, you never know. It's like David said, it's whatever kind of pops up in our mind. So if you have an idea for one, reach out to your project or reach out to a project and say, hey, how about this? I'm interested in this and work on it. Well, let's talk a little bit about stats. So Lesh, how are we looking for today? What stats can you share without giving away too much information?
Well, stats look nice and impressive. I was just going over the numbers, and I can tell we still have one Olympian without edited profiles. So
really,
that
was Ward.
No, already 8 hours ago it was also only one. This one without edit profiles. So all others do have a few, just probably parents with 2 or 4 new profiles. But the biggest addition was one Olympian got 597, so almost 600 new profiles in their CC7. Wow. And there's another one in 500, I think. Wait, where is it? No, I lost it. So quite a few have a few hundred. Here is another one has 514 new profiles and 499. So quite a few have new profiles in hundreds. Most of them has over 100 new profiles. So this was quite a connection for these Olympians. And if you are, that's just the new profiles, so profiles that were created by participants. But their CC7s go, so the most is 6,700 profiles within CC7 for one Olympian, and then one is in 5,000 and 4,000. So quite huge connections, but those were existing profiles already on WikiTree, so they were not all added this week today.
Today, but that's still impressive. And then if everybody wants to find out all the total numbers, you've got to watch the wrap up and see all the information. Unless we'll put that all together, so that's pretty impressive. That's a great job, guys. I do want to
know that top one. It's like, oh, I wonder who it is. Which
I know.
Done good.
What do you want to? Who has the biggest CC7?
Do we guess? You could probably go through each Olympian too.
Wait, I will put it in chat. So this WikiTree, this profile has the biggest CC7 at the moment, and probably it will stay that way. It's only 3 more hours.
Probably, because I know a lot of people are getting tired.
You can see the CC7s on the profile page of each Olympian. So
yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's not really a secret, but this one has the biggest CC7.
That's my team. But
it's okay.
I doubt that probably even a tenth of that is new profiles. They'll be all connections.
But for instance, this profile only got 39 new profiles. So in our scoring, it will not score that high, but for WikiTree, it's a well-connected profile.
Yeah.
That's a good question Joku has. How many are not connected?
It's in Quebec, so yeah, those families are all connected, aren't they? So it's like, yay. No.
And I just want to point out a few things that before I lose track, because I know we're going on other questions. So when we're talking about a few moments ago about the pop-ups and the challenges, keep in mind that each project is going to have a pop-up or a challenge that relates to the project. So I know Joku really, really would like to see for the WikiGames another one a little bit more global. And I do agree with you that the Moonshiners and NASCARs is even more U.S. centered than baseball. But my project is extremely U.S. centered, so that's why we have it. But I noticed also that David is working on a cricket. You guys asked about a cricket challenge too, and David's working on that. That would be something that I guarantee you my project members might not know about. But that doesn't mean they can't participate in. They could still.
And if somebody does know about it, you could email me, and maybe you could help me put this together, Darren, because I don't know cricket. So it's, that's the other thing is I can do it, but I don't know what I'm doing. And if these people that I'm Googling on the internet are actually people you'll know of or won't know. So
cricket's popular.
If I can get somebody that actually knows about cricket, that would be terrific.
And this is kind of where we want to encourage you guys to, if you don't maybe know, like David and I don't know cricket, but that would be something that I would jump into. I don't necessarily need to know cricket if David sets up all the profiles for us, and then it becomes genealogy and history and sports. So it's kind of one of those things. But I understand where you guys are coming from. This, like I said, we've been doing the livecast and we've heard this comment. That's probably the biggest comment when you guys say more global athletes have more global. I think we hear that comment more. Then we want to see the stats, like we get to see them for the thons.
Yeah. Well, to go with cricket, my son's school has 4 houses, and they're all named for New Zealand cricketers.
Put
So,
my
yeah,
ID number in the chat. If anybody has an idea or wants to participate, send me a message, and we'll take it from there.
And that's really cool too, because you've already got a volunteer. So see,
Yeah, I see a few people skip me
Yeah.
messages, and I'm not going to remember everybody's.
yeah. So especially
I think this is perfect time slot for cricket because Australia, New Zealand, England,
Mhm.
they're all watching now.
you're right. This is a great time, and you get the interest of people. Maybe do a watch party.
Well, and
I'll make
Hillary has
comments
a
on the
really good
comment.
point here. It says many born in one country immigrate and die elsewhere. That's what Darren and I know that from our 15 Nations tour, because
Yeah.
we talk about this all the time. We start out in Malaysia, and next thing you know, you're in Oklahoma City doing census research because somebody's cousin married somebody who moved to France, who moved to England, who moved to Oklahoma. So,
Yeah.
you end up all over the world.
And that's interesting too, a challenge on focusing on some lesser known sports as well. And I find that athletes do tend to move around a lot as well. And that's kind of, something to think about. So really good information that you guys are sharing with us, and we'll pass that along as well. And make sure that you type the word timeline if you've just joined us. That's why that is floating across the screen there. So type the word timeline so we can add you for the drawing. So why did I choose timeline for the word today? Just real quick, we've been doing tips every live cast throughout, and I've been doing little tips, and some people like the big graphic and like to see the information, and some people like to just see list, and I'm kind of a list person. So let me show you what I mean for timeline. So on every profile, you'll see the tree apps, but also I've got under here something called family timeline. I use this a lot when I'm looking at family search to compare if I'm trying to add relatives or any type of information, really. The cool thing is I can just move this all around my page too. So I kind of look at it just to see the birth and kind of what the timeline is of the marriage, especially if this person had a lot of marriages. That gets a little complicated. And I'm just, holding my left mouse button down and just moving it around the page so I can see it. Just something real quick and easy. The other thing, that the reason why I like this is I can see if the sources have the correct location as well. And that's a really big deal for my research area, because sometimes the location has it in a different state. So I like to see that. The other thing that if you're a visual person, you can click on tree apps, and you guys know how much I love the tree apps. So click on the tree apps tab and come down to family timeline and click go. Again, this is probably more for a visual person. I'm just using my left mouse button again and moving it left to right. One of the reasons that I like this as well is if you have a lot of siblings, or a lot of families will name their kids the same as their siblings. And this allows you to see the dates. So if you have John Smith, for example, you could see the siblings up here. But if they also said, hey, we want to name our child John Smith too, as well, you can see the dates a little bit clearer. For me, visually, it just works easier for those tough names where multiple families keep renaming. And back in the day, and in certain countries, they do not use seniors and juniors, the ones, twos, and threes, things like that. They just the name, and they don't use the middle name either as well. And then one other thing, when I look and do a search from my page, let me bring this up. So if I come up to Sourcer and I do a search for Ancestry for this particular one thing that I really like, if I just put my mouse over this, I'm not clicking, I'm not doing anything, I'm just kind of placing the mouse over it, you'll notice that it will compare the information that I have and tell me green is exact, The grayish black is similar, so that might be similar enough. And then the kind of maroon color is completely different. This just gives me an idea of what record I'm looking at to compare without having to actually waste my time going into the record. So if this is completely wrong and the timelines are completely wrong in the dates, I can just ignore this and keep on going back. So that was just a really quick idea of timelines and ways to use them if you're more of a list person or if you're more of a color block person. And I noticed a few more selfies. So let's show the selfies because we had fun with the selfies the last hangout. So I know that Lucas is in here. I love showing Lucas's picture. Lucas, I'm going to tattle on you one more time. So those that didn't see this last time, this was a totally staged photo, guys, totally staged, except it worked. He fell asleep while he couldn't move. So while he's trying to do that, so that's kind of cool with your pup. And then I'm just going to scroll a little fast because we went through a lot of these last time. But we have some cool ones, and we love seeing the pictures with your pets as well. So here's some new ones from last time. We've got Deb, and Deb is with the Splendid Spruces. I love this. This is so cute too. Heavenly Hemlocks as well, and we've got Catherine with Nikki. So cute. I love seeing the pup pictures.
Very cute.
And then we have JJ, another fellow Appalachian out there, and she is actually going for her PhD in library sciences. And she took time off to do a little WikiTree this weekend as well. So pretty cool. Now look at this. This is amazing. So Elizabeth says this is a few of her 436 olive trees. That's amazing.
Wow.
I wonder how many olive trees she has. If she's in the chat, I'd like to see it.
Do we know where she's at?
And gee, who is this? Who's this little scoundrel?
I wonder who.
I love it.
I think we saw it before.
That's a good hair photo.
Well, the first night, Snowflake had to cause a little disruption by trying to jump too high. Was that the problem?
Yeah, there was one there. She was attacking something on a top bookcase. They're making quite a bit of noise.
There we go.
At the moment, she's just sleeping by my feet.
That's a good question. Does she enjoy her fame? She's now on YouTube forever, so her digital footprint is growing by the hour.
Yeah, she seems to be all right.
Well, I think that's about all that we have to share. Do you guys have anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I got something. Well, way back from DGC, he's asked for an even split for male and female profiles. Now, David will
that was interesting. Now, I will say that David and I and Kathy and Donna were working on these profiles. We were the ones that kind of came up with them. And some of them were a challenge to find because they had to have certain criteria as well. And I will tell you, I say 6 hours. It might have been longer than that we were working on these.
There's a good amount of time. But we also came up with quite a few more than we actually used. So someone else scaled them down. So I don't know how that was determined as far as, because I do know we actually deliberately had a lot of fencers and equestrians, and we were kind of fun finding those obscure sports. And I think a lot of those may have been dropped for one reason or another. And part of it was because we narrowed down after we found all of these global notables. They decided to focus on just a handful of countries, so those all got deleted. And that was just for, we didn't want somebody getting stuck with Afghanistan or something where there's no records. So
to deal with the female-male ratio, I know every time we go to a new country for the 15 global nations,
Mhm.
David has a hard time trying to find some female notables because
Yeah.
Interesting.
you go back a little bit of time and you didn't.
Yeah, if you're going to
Yeah,
lesser
what about-
developed countries, they didn't have a lot of female notables in the 1800s, and
Yeah.
no, but we find them. They're
Yeah.
there, but they didn't have the scientists
Well-
and the
Well, we've had a female
sports stars.
We've had a
And they're
female
also
poet
much females are much harder to track
They are.
because
Mhm.
they change the last
They-
name in most
Well,
countries.
and
so-
depending on the country they're in, you got to learn the rules for each country.
Well,
But-
even in our country here, the women sometimes are not listed. Their husbands are and things. Now I know we're talking about Olympians, but they are hard to track. They change their names. They move locations.
And for the projects that I do, I focus primarily very heavily on deceased notables because of the privacy rules. We don't want to, we can't open up the living people. So we've been working on a possible global or international football project as opposed to American football. And same thing, it's like to find female football stars who are deceased. There's not a whole lot of them.
And here's another good example too. The most marriages I found during the CC7 climb was a lady with 6 last names.
Wow.
Well, that's good for connecting the three. You get much bigger CC7 then.
Very true, very true. But it is interesting. And then if you can't count the last one, but maybe that's the name that she was married to the longest, then we can't find the record. It gets tricky. You're right. It gets very tricky. So
I have one female in my. Oh, she's married to my great grandfather, and he was one of 4 marriages. So she had 5 last names. So it does happen.
It does. It does.
And then there's always the one that married for U.S. records, we married in 1871 and divorced in 1879, so they've missed both census records.
Yep.
And I hate to do this to everybody, but can I ask everybody? I know it's not fair. We are having really, really, really bad storms here. And could everybody type in timeline again, just so I make sure that I got everybody, because it's a little, my internet's a little janky. So if everybody could just type in timeline, I don't want to leave anybody out because I know that I need probably a couple more entries, or unless you guys didn't type it in. There we go. Thank you. See, boy, that was weird too, because it just all of a sudden jumped up. Thank you guys, because I don't know what's going on with the storms, if it's the storms or if it's our in-between software, but it just seemed like the people that type timeline seems low compared to the people that are watching. So thanks again. And don't worry, you can type it in 5 times if you like. It's only going to count you once. So don't worry about that as well. But we want to make sure that we've got everybody covered. So, well, I give everybody a chance to type it in again or type it in for the first time. I just want to remind everybody that at 7 a.m. Eastern will be the wrap up and then the closing ceremonies. Really not sure what that looks like because we haven't had a closing ceremonies before, but I know Alesh is going to be the star because you have all the stats.
Yeah, well, I just prepared them. Probably Greg will read them.
Greg's been beside himself. He hasn't had normal stats to tell everybody.
That's true. So David, you're going to be there. Lesh is, of course, going to be there. Darren, you're going to be there.
Yep.
Kathy and I. This is usually when Kathy and I exit left. We go to sleep.
But it's
And
only
we've been
2
talking.
more hours.
That's true.
We've been talking about the various projects and challenges, etc. So those of you that tune in, we are going to have another big announcement for an upcoming challenge.
I mean, big.
Well, actually, not an upcoming challenge, an upcoming project. that will be opening up immediately following the summer games. So give us or pop on in and we'll let you know what's going on.
And you definitely don't want to miss it, but also you don't want to miss it because so many things are going to be happening that you're not used to. Because at the Thon, you kind of have an idea who's won. This time we don't. We don't have a clue. And then you've got David's big announcement as well. So it's going to be interesting to see the wrap up, the bagpipes, the whole fun of it, just like you were there at a closing ceremony. So still going to give everybody, we're about 10 short, I'm guessing, of typing in timeline, maybe 8. So, and Jay, I agree with you. Totally agree with you. I will be in a very deep sleep as well.
Of course, you can watch the video later.
You can. And if anybody has any questions, let us know now or watch. And I need sleep. I would rather sleep than do chores. And I will tell you that, Catherine, I feel you because every time we have a Thon, I tend to not go by the kitchen because I know that my son is probably trashed. Not there now. Put your dishes in the dishwasher. Do that. Do this. So, okay. So we got a couple people who have already won. So if you guys are ready, then we will head over to the drawing. Last chance. Type in.
You have to share the screen.
There we go. You guys ready? Let's see who's going to win. Who's going to win? Here I am. Here we go. Who's it going to be? It's getting slower. Oh, Patty. Patty. Just so you guys know, Miss LaPlante is our highest tree topper too, I believe, as well. So congratulations, Patty. That's pretty cool. Another Appalachia Project member. But I think she is our highest tree topper. I don't know if anybody has beat her. Last time I heard from Patty, I think she has a CC7 of something like 30,000. Something really high like that. So that
sounds great.
Something for us to look forward to in our next 20 years of working on WikiTree to try and beat her.
She's always in the top, at the top on all the Thons.
She is. She definitely is. She works hard. So congratulations, Patty. A1 will get in touch with you and you'll have a choice of a mug or a shirt, and she'll get you all that information. So that's really cool. Before we close out, I just want to make mention of where you guys, if you need to or want to, find us afterwards. So everybody knows that Alesh is around, your data doctors, and you work on the apps. David works on notables in the U.S. government Governor's Project. The notables itself is really quite large, and the 15 for 15 nation tour. Kathy,
15 nation tour.
You are you're in Appalachia, you're in Italy, you're in England,
and a bunch of other ones. But
and
soon to be in sports.
Yeah,
football.
Yes, I'm working on the sports.
Yeah.
I'm working on the sports. It is taking a while. It's slow going. I'm getting there.
And then Darren, where can we find you? What projects?
New Zealand, Australia, Connectors, Sorcerers.
15 Nation Tour.
Yeah, 15 Nation Tour. I'm going to be doing a bit of the global project. I'll put my choices.
Some of our Pacific Islands.
Yeah, so I'm sort of concentrating on a lot of them, trying to get them up. And they're going to be interesting.
I agree. And you can usually find me in the Appalachia Project, the One Place Studies, and ambassadors as well. And as one last funny thing before we leave, I agree with you, Liz. If everybody just marries into Patty's family, we could have really high CC7. Patty, tell us what our options are.
This place must be the place to be on. Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know. We'll be at Patty's for Thanksgiving. Guys, I want to thank you. This is going to be my last time here. So thank you, guys. I appreciate you joining us. And don't forget, you've got a few more hours to continue working on the Olympian CC7. And everybody be here, same place, same time in just about, I would say,
2 hours.
2 hours.
Hours.
2 hours. So it's going to be fun. This will be a really exciting closing ceremony. If you haven't been to the Olympics, David has. If you haven't been to the Olympics, then you can be at WikiTree's Olympics. So congratulations. Bye, everybody.
Bye.